don't forget, man. We're not going to drop. We're going all the way. You ready, Marq Brown?
What you mean? We ain't gonna drop.
We ain't going to drop, meaning we're going 100 times up and down. You ready?
I got you.
All right, here we go.
It's 9 o'clock. You're listening to my daddy, Mikey, right here on Decatur FM. Hey, Mikey, who are you interviewing tonight? I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, sweetie. It's Decatur FM. We are any and everything Decatur. Thank you so much for listening, guys. As you know, for the past couple days, I've been on location. I've been traveling. I've been here, there, and everywhere. And as everybody knows, there's a big weekend that I normally talk about on the station. Good friend of mine does it up in Connecticut. It's called Hell on the Hill. It's a great charity race, and I do it for charity, specifically for the Decatur Makers organization here in town. And everybody that does the event for the weekend does it for charity. Good friend of mine that's actually been on the station with me. It's been so long. It's been like a year.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah. My buddy Marq Brown is live on location with me. Marq Brown.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Just chilling, man. Up here in Connecticut, ready to sweat.
Yeah, it's funny that I got to come all the way to Connecticut to see you on a regular, right? Right.
And we live like 30 minutes.
We live
from
like
each other.
30 minutes from each other. We got to come to Connecticut to do this crazy race, right?
Yeah.
100 times up and down, 77-yard race, right? People think it's easy.
Yeah.
38-degree grade hill. We got 4 hours to complete it.
4 hours to complete it.
Sounds easy.
It sounds easy enough.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Until you get on it and your heart jumps out your chest.
So funny saying. The only reason one of the reasons why I had Marq on is one, because we're together now, and I was like, I have to have you on the station, so might as well do it. And two, we were texting earlier this week about doing the race, and I said, man, you look good, because you were posting some stuff on Instagram. I was like, man, you're looking lean and you're looking good on this hill. And you're like, dude, that's the funniest thing I've heard all month. And the second thing that you said was, I'm just trying not to go into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because it's a different kind of cardio. You know, you're going to do an incline. It's different than just running on flat ground.
Right.
So,
what a great charity event this is. Who you running for?
I'm doing it for children's homelessness,
which is a big problem.
Big problem.
I was just talking to some of the guys downstairs as we were doing our pre-race dinner, and we were just talking about how kids being homeless, being without food, like that just should not exist in our world.
Not at all.
And it's one of the things that you definitely need to add into the equation of just becoming a better community, right?
Yeah, definitely, man.
But to pick up from where we left off, a lot of people don't realize, like, last time we chatted, it was just, we were talking a lot about mindset, right? Because I remember, because we have this promo that we run on a station with your voice all the time.
Yeah.
And it talks about how you told your mom when you wanted to play football. And for those of you who don't remember, and those of you who are new to the station and tuned in, give some history. You used to play for, you went to Auburn.
I went to Auburn
Okay.
In late 90s and played there for 4 years, and ended up being lucky enough to play in New York in the NFL with the Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, you did some time at the Cardinals for just a
little bit, trying to make it. It didn't work out. And
Right.
then after that, I was done with playing football and then got into training and stuff like that.
But the thing about it was, when you got into training, and we became friends because we ran in the same circles, no pun intended, but we run in the same circles. Like, you just got laser focused on just being better, right? Just your mind and just where you're going and what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Discipline is everything,
Yeah.
right? It's funny. I was just talking to, which I was just talking to my father-in-law recently on one of the shows, and he was just talking about the power of fewer things, right? And the power of fewer things is definitely one of the things when it comes to that, and brand building is being disciplined, right?
Yeah.
So for the past year, you've been really just laser focused on just getting your body right, getting your mind right. I ask you this all the time, though. What you racing for? Where you going? What are you doing? Because every time, if you don't know him, you need to follow him on either Instagram, Facebook.
Level Marq.
That's
L3V3L MARQ.
Right, and I'll post a link, or you could find it actually through some of the old interview that we did with him. But it's like you post these pictures like up and down Stone Mountain. You're doing 10 miles. Biggest hurdle that you've done recently?
It's 50 miles. Yeah.
50-mile run.
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
Me and my buddy Jesse, we're doing this race called Last Man Standing, and the format is you have to get 4.2 miles completed in an hour, and however long it takes you. So if you get done in 45 minutes, you got 15 minutes to rest. At the top of the hour, you got to go again. And it's a group of people, and you keep going. There's no end. It's just till the last person is done.
4.2 miles.
4.2 miles
in an hour.
It's not very far.
Sounds easy.
Yeah.
Right. but it's not.
It's not easy.
Because we were talking about that earlier. You were like, it's just a 4.2 miles. And I said, man, come on, man. That's easy. He goes, yeah, but when you get to hour 8 and hour 12.
Yep. Hour 18, hour 24.
It becomes a problem,
It becomes a real problem.
So I was wondering at the end of the day, like, what is the strategy? Like, is it just slow and steady as she goes? Is it
slow and steady as she goes? You don't want to, you want to, go as easy as you can so you can last as long as you can. Staying hydrated, staying on top of your fuel, and just having the positive mindset, man.
Okay.
Real positive mindset.
So with the whole training, you guys also brought in special forces.
Yeah, special forces.
Like literally special forces, right?
Yeah.
Because when we were talking, and I love sharing these types of stories with the neighborhood because it translates so much into regular life.
Oh man, 100%, 100%.
All the time.
All the time,
Okay?
man. Uh-huh.
So like you just said, nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do that every day to take care of our bodies.
Definitely, man.
Right?
Definitely.
Hydration.
Mm-hmm.
But the really important thing is what you say to yourself.
Yeah.
When you're going through it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I know we're talking about a race right now,
Uh-huh.
but we also talk about life like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So when you're going through it in the race,
Mm-hmm.
or when you were going through this 50-mile training
Yeah.
period, what did this guy say to you, and who was he?
Well, it's this guy named former Navy SEAL named Chad Wright. He retired maybe a year ago. He's 31 years old from northern Georgia. Yeah. And my buddy Jesse, who I'm doing the race with, he was looking at the last man standing, trying to see who's done it, trying to get some, some pointers, whatever. And Chad's uncle actually does security for Jesse. So Chad had run the race. So Jesse reached out to him. Can you give us some pointers? Can you come up to Connecticut and kind of pick your brain or whatever?
Right.
And he came up here the other day. Like I said previously, the furthest I had gone during the training was like 32 miles, 8 hours, and I would hit a wall. You know what I mean? It was like you just got the wheels came off. You good for the first 6 hours,
sure.
And 8 hours in, you're probably at about 32 miles by then.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I wasn't getting past that. And speaking to the whole positive mindset thing, he was trained as a Navy SEAL, and in Navy SEALs, they always teach you not to focus on the negative.
Why?
You know what I mean? Because the more you focus on the negative, you're programming your brain as to keep thinking about negative, and it's going to make it harder, right?
Right.
So he had this thing every hour on an hour, we each would say one thing that we were thankful for. You know what I mean? And before we went out, he was like, there's 2 things that are not allowed. No negative talking or negative thoughts, because you don't want to give it any energy, and absolutely no cursing. I'm like, no cursing. I'm like, I curse all the time. It's going to be hard. And then he said something that was really, really, I never thought about it. It's real simple, but I never thought about it. He said, tell me one curse word that has a positive meaning, right?
Yeah.
One curse word. It's none of them. I mean, they might relieve some stress, but the same thing, just trying to be positive.
You know what? I got a couple curse words that I feel could be positive. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So last time we spoke, you had said to me, one of the things that you said, I'm not an overly spiritual person, but you believe in the universe and putting stuff out there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's very relatable to what you said.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Do you think by doing, by bringing in the negativity, that kind of puts the subconscious into a place where it says, all right, cool, you don't want to do it, so we're not going to do it.
Exactly, man. It gives you a reason to stop. It gives you start rationalizing okay, I'm good. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done.
Right.
The more positive, because to give you an example, like I was saying, 8 hours was kind of my wall where I was hitting and I was kind of falling apart. We got to 8 hours relatively fast. It seemed like it was fast because we were talking, you know what I mean? We were just saying positive things and it just kept going. And I got 4 hours past what I previously done, which was 20 miles more. And it's just from that positive talk, that positive influence, that just because you're programming your brain, right? The more things you say negative things, you're feeling negative. Something starts hurting. You start thinking about that over and over again. He just said, just don't give it energy. Your foot starts hurting. Don't give it energy. Just think it's okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sure your foot started hurting.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So the thought was?
The thought was, it feels great. It's okay. It's
Are you
not
serious?
Yeah, it's not gonna kill me. Just keep moving. Keep moving.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving. Don't stop.
And you felt that helped.
It helped. It helped tremendously.
Versus if you dropped every F-bomb and A-bomb, there was.
It's just
game changer.
Yeah, you just feed into the negativity and you start feeling sorry for yourself. It becomes worse than what it is. You start building it up.
So when you were done, right, and you looked at the
watch.
At
12 hours, I was done.
He said it was a wrap.
Because the whole thing was So the last man standing, you don't know when it's going to end, right?
Right.
So we didn't know when we started. We started at 6 a.m. We didn't know. He said he wasn't going to tell us how far we were going. We could have been going for 6 hours on that run, or we could be going for 14 hours.
Oh, you didn't know?
He didn't tell us. We had no idea.
So here's the thing. So anytime, and let me ask you how you deal with this, right? Anytime I do a race for the first time that I don't know the track, I get anxiety.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because I never know when it's going to end.
Yep.
Right?
But if you do that same track the next time, it's so much easier. It's so much easier.
Right? Yeah. I mean, because you and I did, we did the Publix marathon, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's like, all right, cool. I had never finished. I had never did that 26.2 because I was scared of it, right? Because I didn't know what happened after. Because I always did the 13. And I always knew what to expect. You know, you come up, you bust a left on Highlands, you go through Piedmont,
and it's over.
You're done.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But once we left Highlands and we went into no man's land, is what I call it, right? You remember that? You remember that, right?
No man's land.
You remember that? But I got frustrated because I didn't. It's almost like, and I'll say I did this just to get my head around it. Was the day before, because I think I was texting you. I actually had to go ride the course to see where we're going, right?
To see it, yeah.
But I think I took some wrong turns because when I actually did the course, I was like, I don't remember this, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm in that middle of that, like, no man's land, like, where am I going? Like, how do you actually get somebody to say, you know what? Regardless of where we're going, I'm going to power through.
Positive, man. I'll give you an example. The guy Chad, right? The guy Chad had this other guy that did the last man standing race, a different race last year. The guy that ran with Chad had previously only run 10 miles, right? He was a runner, but he only ran 10 miles. And ever.
Longest he's ever
run, right?
Okay.
He got this guy to do 100 miles just by every lap saying, I will not quit. I will not quit. 100 miles from 10 miles to do 100 miles.
It gets a little monotonous, though.
It's monotonous, but like,
it works.
It works, man. It works. Or like, think of something that gives you positive mojo, positive energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when you're hurting, you just say, I'm not hurting, I'm fine. You telling yourself, you're programming your brain. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's your mind telling you, because your body can keep going, but your mind is telling you got to shut it down. So if you're telling your mind, I'm good, you're good.
Mind-body connection.
100%.
That's where it happens.
100%. He got the guy to run 100 miles from only running 10 miles previously.
Now, it wasn't pretty though, right? It was slow.
Ugly. You could be, spit coming out your mouth. He did it. You know what I mean? Like this 50-mile run I did, the last lap was ugly.
Were you like?
I was like, I had the head lean side, like the drool coming out the mouth, legs start cramping, but you get through it. But then it's the point, like, okay, I got the 50 miles. So when I do this race and when we do the race, I know what 50 miles feels like. I know mentally I can get to 50 miles.
How long is the race that you're training for? How long is it?
What do you mean how long?
No, the actual race that you're training. That was a training run that you did, 50. But you're actually training for a race.
Yeah,
called the Last Man Standing.
I don't know how long it's till the last person stops.
Is that what it is?
Yes, that's why it's called Last Man Standing. You go 4.2 miles every hour on the hour.
I thought there was a distance.
No. It could be 24 hours. It could be 16 hours. It could be 38 hours. And you don't know.
Are you serious?
That's why we didn't know. That's why he didn't tell us how far we were going to run, because he wanted us to get in that mindset, not knowing where the end was going to be.
So really, technically, this race could be 20 miles and it's done.
It could be 20 miles.
It's not going to be.
Theoretically, it could be.
Right, but it's not going to.
It's not going to be, but it could be. You don't know. And that's the thing about it. It's more mental, because you think 4 miles is nothing. You probably could walk 4 miles in an hour, right? If you're walking at a good pace.
Yeah, sure.
But if you don't, your mind is like, when is it going to be over? Where there's no finish line. You know what I mean?
You guys are going through this phase right now, and it's not a phase. You're doing this thing right now where I feel is the mastery of the mind, right? Like, how do I put the reins on this bad boy and control it?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It teaches you patience.
That's what it is.
Like you have, because you'll get to a point where like you want it to be over. Like I'm done. I've run 40 miles, but you got to just talk to yourself. So I say to myself, like, when you're running sometimes you get that boost of energy and you start picking it up, right?
Yeah.
So what when that happens to me, I'm like, okay, slow down. And I think quiet energy, have energy, but mellow energy. Don't like try to get too high. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like quiet energy. So you slow. It's almost like you're walking, but it's like a real effortless step, but it's like, it's mental. It's all mental, man.
So, and then the mantra is the key. It seems like the mantra is the key to actually going the distance at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Now, most people would say, I'm pretty sure, Your wife said it. Jesse's wife has said it. I know Jesse's mom said it.
Yeah.
Is this good for your body?
Absolutely not. Is it healthy for you? No. To run this, to do this kind of race, any ultra marathon is not good for you. So any kind of running long distance is not good for you.
So I'm going to ask you this question.
But it's good for your soul.
So hold on a second. Don't answer that question. The question that I have, because I've asked Jess this question. I've asked a couple of people this question, a couple of our friends this question. Why run 50 miles? Well, because for me, honestly, and I run in the same circle, but for me, it ends at 26.2.
Yeah,
I'm done,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah.
What's the 100 proven?
It's just proving that you have a lot more in than you think you have. You know what I mean? And it's cliche, but it transfers into everything, man. Like you don't want to get up with your kids, or you don't want to do something at work. I ran 100 miles, or I pushed past something that I didn't think I could do. Like it's just a mental thing, and it's one of those things like you have to continuously do it to keep it in play.
I think running 100 miles is easier than waking up with a kid.
Exactly.
I'm kidding, honey.
I love you. I love Candace. I love you.
We love you, Sissy and Candace. Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, that is a good way of looking at it, that it translates into life, right?
Yeah.
I would say the only way that I actually accepted it when asking you that question, or accepted the answer when they answered it and you answering it, is when life hits you as hard as it possibly can.
Yeah.
You can essentially say to yourself,
I've been here.
Right.
And I know what it takes to get through it. You know what I mean?
So then answer me this, right? Most people, right, say that they can do it, say that they want it, right? As much as they do, like, I can do it, and I'm not talking about racing. I'm just talking about life.
Anything,
right?
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that because you truly don't believe it, or
you don't know what you're capable of?
Capability.
You probably see people on Instagram, I can do this, and that's all facade. You know what I mean? It's a thing like when I was playing football, my coaches always say, you get to a big game, you all hyped up, adrenaline, blah, blah, blah. After 2 minutes, all that's out the window. It comes down to who prepared the best, who's going to execute. You know what I mean? So this is just preparation and execution. And we've been training for this since like March, but it hasn't been easy. And at the end of the day, if I have a bad race day and I don't do what I wanted to do, it doesn't matter, because everything I've gone through to get ready for is way more important. I've learned so much more over this past 5 or 6 months about myself.
What have you learned?
Just learned that I have something in me that's going to keep me going. That when it gets hard, I'm not going to stop. I have mental toughness, which I already knew I had, and I can go further and do more than I thought I could. Right. You know what I mean?
Real quick, guys, just so you know, if you hear voices in the background, there are a whole bunch of elite athletes in this house that you'll probably hear, both young and old, because there's some phenoms here that are 12, 13 years old. So just letting you know. And by the way, our setup pseudo studio is actually the room that we're spending the night in.
Yes.
We're not in the Decatur FM studios, but everybody is cool with that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
make way. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. People know, like,
what's going on?
Why are they in a room together? Like,
who's in the background talking?
What y'all doing?
Yeah.
But no. So people say that, right? And they don't.
It's easier said than done.
Right.
Because I heard Jesse talking about this, positive mindset. This guy always, with the guy Chad was saying you hear it all the time, but until you see it or you see the benefits of it, you don't really buy into it. So you have to practice it. You have to try it out. You can't just hear, oh yeah, I'm gonna say blah 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 because I'm gonna push myself. You have to actually do something.
But it stops there though for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna push myself.
Yeah. You just have to, you have to be honest with yourself. Some people are lying to themselves, like they want to push themselves, but when it gets hard, it's like, nah, I'm good. I mean, if you really want to do it, you're gonna do it. If you don't want to do it, you're not gonna do it.
You enjoy the pain?
I don't enjoy it. I enjoy the benefits of it. You know what I mean? It keeps me in check. It keeps me on point. It keeps me like focused. It keeps me in line.
Do you think it keeps you present? As well?
You have to be present.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to be, because I think about this, right? So we're doing this thing. We run 6 minutes. We walk 4 minutes, right? Yeah. And we say all that matters is that 6 minutes that you're running, or that 4 minutes that you're walking.
Yeah.
Don't think about, I got to do 12 more hours, because you don't know. Yeah. That's what it teaches. It teaches you to be present. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, me and Jesse always joke and be like, you got to be a sick individual in the head to like do this over and over, but it's not for everybody,
Yeah, but what do you tell the person though that's like sitting there, right? Mm-hmm. That wants it, scared of it though, because part of it is fear, right? You're always scared of what you don't know, and sometimes what you always want is always on the other side of fear.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
How do you and you can't necessarily like make somebody do it, but what's the encouraging words to say, listen, man, like fill in the blank.
The encouraging words is, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to remember for somebody that said they were going to do it, or you want to remember somebody that said they were going to do it and did it? You know what I mean? Like it's what you want to get out of life, right?
Right. Do
you want to just kind of, coast along, or do you want to see how maximize your potential? Like, we don't have a lot of time on earth. So it's about what the individual wants, right?
That's very true.
It boils down to, because you could tell somebody all day long, this is what you have to do, da 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 da. But if they don't really want it deep down inside, you can't really give it to them. If they don't really want it, they're not gonna do it.
Right.
Because if you don't really want it, when it gets hard, you're gonna shut it down.
And that's the thing that I don't understand, because when you shut it down, right, then people don't understand where they went wrong, and part of it is like, I mean, you quit.
Yeah, you quit.
You know what I mean? Like,
but do you think about that feeling after you ever quit something? Then the next day you like, I could have went more. Like,
right.
It's all about how you wired. If you don't have that instilled, then you can put it in yourself. But if you don't have it in you, if it doesn't mean that much to you, then it's not going to be that important.
You know, the funny thing is, when you guys a few years ago, when both of you guys actually convinced me to do this race here in Connecticut, I was fearful of it because I'd seen you guys had been 2 years in, and I'd seen you doing it, and I was like, I'm not going up that hill. And you guys, you could do it, what have you, right? Which I did it, and I really came in really reserved, right? Like, I'm not going to go too hard.
Yeah.
I might drop dead. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Get the life insurance policy in place just in case.
Yeah.
But it was funny because after I was finished 100, and I think you looked at me and were like, so, cuz you're going to do it again next year? I actually was like, absolutely, right?
Yes.
But and then when I said that, it was like, part of me was like, I really don't, but I'm curious about it. The curiosity got me, right?
The curiosity got you.
The curiosity of, what if I could do this again and do it?
And I didn't die.
And I didn't die.
I didn't die. Nothing kind of crazy. Like, it was nothing to fear. It hurt a little bit, but after you got in the cold tub, you got some eat, and you were fine.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing, man. You can't let fear stop you from trying to be great.
Right.
Because if you do, you're never going to accomplish anything great.
So in the neighborhood, we got, there are a lot of people that I run into that, they have dreams and aspirations, right? And, for us to get off of the workouts for a second, but relate the workouts back to this, a lot of friends are like, I really want to open this business. I've been thinking about it. I really want to do it. And it's like, well, what you want is on the other side of fear.
Yes.
Right? Very much like our race. I wanted to do the race again because I tried it.
Yeah.
But when I tried the race again, what do you have to do? You have to start all over from zero to do 100 again. But this time I'm going to try to do it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that is also a good mentality to have? Like, for example, a business owner, right? Like, listen, if you fail, cool. You got to start over again.
Without a doubt.
But you know what you're dealing with.
Without a doubt. Sarah, when I say Sarah, I want to tell you the name. Sara Blakely, the founder of Spanx, she always said, when she was a child, her father, they would ask her at dinner, what did you fail at today? And they would celebrate her failures. So it kind of taught them to not be scared of failing, because if you're scared to fail, you're not gonna, it's a risk that you can fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people don't do a lot of things because they think they're going to fail.
Yeah.
And I think that translates for me as well, like in business, because there's been a lot of times where I'm going to do something. I think that's why I do this so much, because I'm trying to train myself to get over that not jumping. You know what I mean? Like, just physically, I'm doing it through a physical aspect, so hopefully it translates into business.
Yeah.
Or in family and everything.
Or anything,
man. Because if you don't practice something, you're not gonna get better at it.
Right.
At all.
Microwave world that we live in. Everybody wants to be good at it now, right? And if
but the good thing is the process. That's the whole part, is like the hard journey. Like, you have to go through it. There's no shortcuts. That's what's gonna make you better. That's why I said, if I don't do good at this race, I still got out of what I wanted to get out of it. I did this training for 6 months, stayed with the regiment, and I showed myself, what I'm capable of.
So when people say, and I've asked this question to a lot of people, a lot of smart people that have been on the station, right? When people say, and I think a good friend of mine, a psychologist, he also says this a lot too, trust the process.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or / embrace the process. What does that mean for you? Because I struggle with understanding what that means.
For me, that means that if I fail, that I'm going to do it again. Trust that if it doesn't work out, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to do it again. Trust that if I do it over and over enough, it's going to finally, it's the same thing we talked about on the show last time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I fail, if I keep trying, it's going to eventually happen. But you can't be, I'm the type of person, I almost embrace the failure. Like if I go out for a hard run.
Okay, so hold on a second.
Okay.
You embrace
the
you
failure.
actually
like it sucks. Like to me, it sucks, but it's one of those things. I'm the type of person. It's not gonna sit well with me.
Right.
Like I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna be like, man, I just failed at something. Like, but I want to do it again because it's gonna annoy me. I want to do it again, and I want to do it again. Even if you people say if you fail, get back up. Most people they fail, they get back up. They fail, they're gonna stop. No, you fail, you get back up. You fall down 7 times, you get up 8 times. That's the mindset. You have to keep going. Because even when you're failing, you're winning because you're learning something about yourself every time you fail.
I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Funny story. Tell the story about because listen, you guys are going to. These guys have stories of physical challenges that they've been through years and years gone by. So Mount Washington, that was a failure the first time.
That was so. Me and my buddy Jesse, for those of you who don't know, Mount Washington is on the presidential mountain range. I think it's in
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire?
Yeah.
New Hampshire, okay.
Yeah.
It's in New Hampshire, right?
Maine is the other race.
Yeah. So it's in New Hampshire, right? So we were going to hike this mountain, and we went with a buddy that had done it several times, but he wasn't like a professional guide or whatever.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Mount Washington has some of the most dangerous weather in the world in the wintertime. Very windy.
Yeah.
The wind can get up to like 100 miles an hour. Vision can go. It's slow, blah, blah, blah. So we make it all the way to about a half a mile from the summit. Half a mile. 2 laps around the track. We can't see. We're putting orange pins in the ground. It's getting so white out that
Can't even see your hand.
we put it in the ground. You walk 5 feet, you can't see the pin behind you, right? And this is not a professional guide.
Right.
So long story less long, we turn around, right?
Yeah.
So Jesse, my buddy, he gets home.
Yeah.
And by when we get down to the bottom of the mountain, I'm like, dude, I'm done. That was good. I'm not coming back. Don't call me no more, right? So Jesse gets back home. He's talking to his wife, Sarah, and he's like, we didn't make it, but I want to go back. His wife goes, that's great, honey. You should go back. You guys should go back next year. And Jesse goes, next year? I'm going back in 5 days. Because
Go back next weekend.
His whole thing is like, you don't know if you're going to be here next year. So we come back in 5 days. He calls me. He's like, you want to go back? I'm like, I ain't going back. I told you I wasn't going back, right? But then another day he comes, he's like, man, come on. We can't do it. I was like, all right, you convinced me, right? We get out there. And we have a guide, and we hit our goal. And when we first got out there, I'll be honest with you, man, I'm telling myself, and this will go back to the positive thinking. Yeah. Like we get out there, and it sucks again, right? And I remember how bad it sucks because I'm out there again. I'm telling myself, man, I'm not even supposed to be out here. This is a BS, blah, blah, blah.
So here's the negative, right?
The negative it's getting in my head. I'm getting mad, right? So then I keep pushing. And then when I got to the top after that, I was like, dude, this wasn't so bad. The feeling of accomplishment was way more fulfilling than the feeling of failure.
Right.
So it was just like, dude, and it's like I've been so blessed to be around people like that, to be able to learn these lessons, and I don't take it for granted. I don't know why, but it's just,
I'll tell you a funny story of that Mount Washington thing where failure, and I embraced this failure. So I was originally invited on that race.
I remember this. Yeah.
And actually, the gentleman that I had on previously on the station, my father-in-law, a.k.a. CEO of Carter's, Fred Rowan, he called me up. And he goes, hey. I said, what's up? Said, I heard you're going to climb Mount Washington. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, you're not going to do that. I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, I don't think I want you to do that. You got a wife and child, and the winds up there get to how much?
Like 100 miles an hour?
100 miles an hour. Yeah, you're not going to do that. So I called Jesse. I said, we need to talk. He goes, what? I said, my father-in-law won't let me go on that. He goes, are you serious? I said, very.
Yeah.
Has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then, so here I am sulking, right?
Seeing all the pictures on Instagram we're posting.
They
and
summited, and I was just like, so then my wife comes like, are you sad you didn't go? Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that was a perfect example of what we're talking about, embracing the failure, learning from it, and then going back and
listen,
doing it.
because we're both fathers, we're both husbands. We know we have responsibilities.
Nobody's doing extreme stuff.
Like nobody's trying to. We're not trying to die.
We're not doing stupid stuff. No.
We're just trying to do things that are hard, that outside of our box, and God willing, come back in one piece. We don't have a death wish.
Yeah.
Nobody.
We're not masochists or anything.
Nothing like that, man. We're just, and for me, I think that's another thing. Having kids, like you pass it on to your children, right?
So true.
Like when I'm outside with my kids and it's hot and they're like, "Daddy, carry me back to the house." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
You're gonna walk back home and it's like a couple feet, or you're gonna stay here.
Yeah.
It's the same. It translates over into your children, your family, all that stuff, man.
So there's this guy. His name's Bruce Lipton, right? He's a unbelievable cellular biologist. I talk about him quite a bit because I've read a lot of his books and his readings. And he always talks about children, right?
Mm-hmm.
He always says, there's one great saying. He always says, show me a child till they're 7 years old. I'll show you the man. What that basically means is the first 7 years of a child's life. We're talking about being fathers. The first 7 years of a child's life is so important because what they see and what they take in, their brains are like sponges, right? So that's what they become, right? Or they're not going to become that person, but a lot of those teachings from us as parents will stick with them, right?
Yeah.
You'll notice. I mean, your sons will act like you, or my daughter will act a little bit like me.
Yeah.
So I think having them see us do that, because I'm pretty sure with the boys, you don't let them ever see you scared.
No. But I don't let them see me scared, but I also let them know it's not a bad thing to be scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
It's how you deal with it.
It's because I'll give you an example. We were at the city pool the other day, high diving. We're about 20 feet, right?
I saw that.
My kids are 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
One of my sons, he's pretty fearless. So I knew he was going to go up there, do his thing, jump up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The other one, he's like me. We call him cautious, right? He's cautious. His name is Carter. We call him Cautious Carter, correct? He's just like his dad.
CC.
Yeah, right? So, and he was like, Daddy, I'm scared. The worst thing you can do is shame a child for being scared. You tell him, like, buddy, it's okay to be scared. You know what? Let's come back down. If you want to do it, you can do it. Because when you push a kid like that, it could traumatize them. You know what I mean?
Like, never want to do it again.
They never want to do it again.
Yeah.
Tell them everybody has fear. Let them know that fear is something that's good. But how you handle the fear is the most important thing.
And the crazy part is a lot of that, if you forced him to do it, a lot of that translates into other things in life.
Oh yeah,
that he'd be scared of and a little bit more traumatic of.
Yeah.
Than
1,000%.
Than just jumping off.
But that's something that mentally at 4 years old that you don't even know how big that could probably be later on in life.
Right.
And he doesn't even know. You know what I mean? But like, it's just embrace being scared.
One thing I love about when you guys are working out, especially when you're working out, and I'm going to ask you this question. So what's getting you amped right now? This on your iPhone that you're listening to, music wise. What's on your playlist that really gets you charged up? You got to tell me. Yeah, because chances are people in the neighborhood listen to the same thing too.
Man, I listen to a lot of explicit rap.
Right.
But to be honest with you, I really don't even listen to music when I'm running because it turns into noise.
Distraction.
It's distraction. Like, I'll listen to it in the beginning to kind of get to a point where
it's
I'm
a warm up.
Yeah. And then once I'm starting to get going, I'll take it out because then I need to listen to my body. Listen to Rick Ross, stuff like that.
Stuff, we all love that stuff.
Yeah.
I just wondered,
but after a while, it's just like, dude, you're rapping about stuff, and I'm out here dying.
So and then I think the other part of that is you continue to do that, it kind of takes you away from being present, right?
Definitely.
Because you get kind of lost.
Yeah. You don't know what your heart rate is. You don't know how you're feeling. Like, you need to know how you feel. You need to listen to your body.
Right.
You need to know how to pull back. Push, pull back. Heart rate's getting up. Okay, this is what the ground feels like. Be more connected in the moment. And
that's another thing too. Definitely listening to the body, because we're not. And I'm not saying to anybody like, listen, go out and run 50 miles tomorrow and just to handle it. Like,
and you can, for somebody running 10 miles might be the equivalent of running 50 miles. Somebody that's not used to running 10 miles might seem like
500 feet from me right now is equivalent to 50 miles.
It's all relevant to who you are and what you're doing.
Right. I'm totally kidding about the 500 feet. I can do a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you listen to that, those small achievements, right? Those small changes, right, gets you to, and you know what? You may never even run 50. Yeah. That's not what this is about.
Nah.
It's about how do you get through, those tough times.
The tough time. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is when it gets tough, what are you going to do? You're going to stop, or are you going to push through it?
Yeah.
Are you going to program your mind that I need to keep going? Yeah. Because I tell you, if you can't run 10 miles, but you get to 10 miles, then 10 miles becomes easy.
Yeah.
Because the guy, Chad, that we ran with, I was like, after I ran 50 the other day, I was like, man, I was broken, Chad. I was like, I didn't know. I thought something was wrong. I was like,
how'd you feel, though? Because nobody can take that from you once you did it.
I felt when I got done, I wasn't dead. I did it. And I asked Chad, I said, because he's run like 120 miles.
Yeah, they're getting rowdy downstairs.
I said, Chad, I was like, how was it when you ran your first 50 miles? And this guy's a former Navy SEAL, done all kind of crazy stuff. He said it was brutal.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all I needed to hear. If it was hard for him, it's just it's a regular thing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. Ain't nothing abnormal.
When people say, going back to trust the process for a second, though, right? Like a lot of times, though, what I take it as is, I think I'm taking it a little bit too literal when you say trust it, because I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, cool, but I don't know what the process is, right? So am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Am I going the wrong way? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that a form of thinking to have, or is trust the process, like you said, understand that you're going to figure it out?
Yeah, it's trial and error too. You're going to figure it out.
So so trusting the process is, there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong. Like, it's no perfect answer.
Yeah.
It's just going through it. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of times we're looking for perfect though.
Yeah, you're looking for I got to do the perfect training run. Or I got to do the perfect training, regimen for 3 months. No, it's just doing it. That's the process. The process is getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
Because once you do it, you're going to figure it out.
Right.
You're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And and what works for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What works for somebody else is not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Just like this, the guy was saying, he got the guy to run 100 miles by saying, I will not quit. To me, having that negative, that not in that phrase, I was like, that's
still negative.
Yeah,
right?
that's not gonna be my phrase. My phrase is, I
finish.
will do this, or I will finish.
Yeah.
I took that, for me personally.
Yeah.
So it's different for everybody else.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody, man.
Yeah, you kind of got to take it for what it is. And your brain kind of translates it to what you know it means, right?
And also trusting the process means that having faith that what you're doing is the right thing. Knowing that, it might not be the perfect way, but I'm doing something and it's going to get me eventually to my goal.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I feel like trusting the process means having faith. And having faith is believing in things you can't see.
Right.
Right. Just knowing that you're going in the right direction, you're doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
After the process is done for the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the 50 miles that you did. There's been a lot of talk around the neighborhood about self-care, right? Taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And part of the workout is you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still very stressful and damaging on your body, right?
Definitely.
After you tune out, you know what I mean? What's your recoup process like?
Well,
as an example, and it doesn't work the same for everybody, but what's yours like? Like, you just did 50 miles. What do you do right after 50 miles?
50 miles, definitely get some food in your body. The next day though, I'm in the cold tub, I'm in the hot tub, I'm lucky enough to be at a place where I have those amenities, but doing things that's going to make your muscles recover. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hydrating, all that stuff, man. And that's just as important as just running the 50 miles because, Chad was telling us, the Navy SEAL was saying this 50-mile run that you did is going to carry over you won't see the benefits of it till 4 weeks from now when the race is. You know what I mean? He's saying because your body's in shock and your body's a smart machine. Your body's like, whoa. Like, what's going on?
For those of you who eventually will get to know this man as he gets on the station more, like when he gets into his this is how my body is when it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, it's like, whoa, like what's going on? Like, hey, red lights going on, but your body's gonna. So after running this 50 miles, I've been starving every day. Like, I couldn't eat enough.
Body's crazy.
Your body is
trying to catch up.
It's catching up and it's teaching yourself, it's training yourself. But I wouldn't have felt that if I didn't do the 50 miles. You know what I mean? So you have to go through it. You can't just say it, oh, I'm going to run a long distance and not ever do it.
So how would you, in your words, right, translate that, what you just said, into everyday life? You're doing something hard in life. What should be the self-care for them?
The self-care?
Yeah.
As far as
So let's say, for example, you know what? I'm working on a hard project. I'm busting my butt to get this done. I'm really going in. I'm trusting the process. Now I need some me time, right?
Taking that quiet time, maybe taking a step back from what you're doing. If you're getting frustrated, you're working on a project, it's not going the way you want, take a step back. Maybe put it down for a day. You know what I mean? And then come back to it refreshed and rejuvenated. Recovery. You're recovering
the same thing.
You're recovering your mind. Your mind's taking a break and you're getting back at it. Because you can get burnt out. Like, it's the same way with training. You can do things where it's dumb. Like, you're running too many miles. Yeah. You know what I mean? So taking a day off.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah. Taking a day off might be beneficial in running and in life, business, family, whatever. Just taking some me time. Me time is just the same thing as getting in the cold tub.
There's been a lot of conversations with that as far as mental health is concerned, right? And not to get anything crazy, but even to the point where people get stupidly anxious and stressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're going so hard.
Yeah.
Not realizing that, what you said, when you finish this 50, you need to eat.
Yep.
You need to do the regular stuff.
Yep.
Ice bath,
Yep.
hot, whatever it did, massages.
Yeah.
So when you return, the body's
reset.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to go. Yep. So when you get back to that pain again, how you feeling? Your body's like, all right, I've been here before.
So then the process that you're trusting becomes a little bit more vivid. It becomes a little bit more in front of you. Like, oh, so here's how we get it done, right?
My knee's hurting right now. Oh, this is how I felt when I got to mile 40 last time, and I was able to keep going. I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Like it's not going to kill me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you definitely need to. How much of this for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along with the good talk, the positive talk, all that stuff is trusting your gut. I talk about that.
Oh yeah, dude, I trust my it was times because we went to Palm Desert, Jesse and I did, and it was 100. Listen to me, it was 120 degrees out there.
Listen, they've been all over the country the past few months, just doing
training runs, right?
Training runs.
So the goal was to run 10 hours in the 120 degree weather, right? And I knew, I'm like, it's gonna be hot, right?
Yeah.
So it got to a point where at 5 hours, and that's not even at the 8 hour barrier I was telling you about. I shut it down because I'm not trying to die. I'm out here barely moving. My heart rate's really high. Call it a day. Be smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be smart.
Right.
You have to be smart.
So when that's everybody's passing by saying hello.
Yeah.
So after you guys are doing all these runs and races and so on and so forth, you ever just I think I'm gonna just chill and hang out for a bit. I'm not gonna because you don't seem to sit still much.
After I promise you, this time of year I feel like during the summertime I really amp it up, but during the wintertime I take time off. It's cold outside, or I might not be training as hard. I definitely take some time off. I'm not gonna constantly be doing it.
One thing I dig about you though too, for your mental release and you know what I mean, your time off is so they'll run all week, right? And then here comes the weekend warriors like myself and some buddies, and we'll text everybody anybody want to go on a 20-mile run on Sunday, and first of all, he doesn't respond, which is great, right? I mean, we don't take offense to that. We know, you know what I mean? And then he'll come back on Monday or Tuesday, go, listen, man, I run all week. Sunday's my time.
Yeah, my family,
And my family and for my body to reset.
Yeah.
And I just need to do that. It's so important.
Yeah, you have to prioritize, but you have to be, like Jesse always says, you got to be willing to say no. You got to be willing to take time and give your time to the things that are important to you.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, is being able to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, and I always ask this question, man, and you said you've learned so much about yourself in the past. You've been learning about yourself. It's a constant process, but especially in the past few months, right? So I asked you the question, a year ago. So it's interesting, to come back and ask you the question again now, right? Because I always try to figure out how do you create better community, period, to be faster, better, stronger. Because really, that's what you're doing, right? You are trying to become better, faster, stronger, right? And as a group, we can all do that.
Yeah.
What would be your words today versus last time we spoke, based on what you've learned?
As far as what I've learned?
Just what is community? Is it the same thing, or is it have you learned anything new during this journey?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the positive thing we've been talking about, but there's one other thing that I learned too, is about pouring yourself into other people. How that gives you energy.
What do you mean?
Say if you're out doing something, hey, you're okay, how you doing? Giving yourself, your being, to somebody else will feed back into
selflessly.
You. Being selfless. You know what I mean? It'll feed back into you. And it's something I never really thought about. You know what I mean? When I used to do 29-0-29, I'm always quiet, grunting through it, blah, blah, blah. But not knowing if I'm talking to somebody, it's going to take my mind off how bad I'm feeling. And seeing them get through a hard time is going to give you energy. Right. It's selfless and it's selfish at the same time, because you're doing it, but you're getting something out of it. You know what I mean?
I don't think that's selfish.
But selfish is the fact that it's all about your intent. Am I intending to do it for that reason, or am I intending to genuinely give to that person? That it could be selfish like that.
Right.
If I'm doing it for the right reasons, it's not selfish.
Right.
But being selfish and pouring yourself into something, it'll harvest back into you.
It's crazy how that happens, because you don't know the responses that you normally get when you're selfless.
Yeah.
The response back that you get is whoa,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that response may not necessarily come from that person, right? Your response may come, a couple weeks later, in a selfless form from somebody else.
1,000%, man.
You know what I'm saying?
1,000%. And I always told you before, I'm big on thinking that people come into your life for a certain reason. This guy Chad, he's very religious, right? So he was saying some things, and I felt it's going to sound weird, but I'm not an overly religious person, but I do believe in I'm religious. Yeah. And I kind of got to a point where I felt like God was speaking to me through him. You know what I mean? It was just some of the things he was saying, it really tugged on my heart. And I was like, man, this is so freaky, blah, blah, blah. And I was so thankful after the fact that we went through that with him. It was
sometimes is that when he told you that, do you think that's something that you kind of already knew?
About what?
No, just being like the positive thought, or is that something that was like, whoa,
It's something
like, I never knew that? And that's,
no. It's something that I knew, but it's something that I never really implemented. You know what I mean? I never put it into action. Until you put something into action, it's just words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
really don't know.
It was something that it's seeing is more believing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So the race happens soon, and you just don't know how long, who's going to be. I mean, you could be the last man standing.
Could be the last man standing, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to go as far as I can.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to put a little rivalry against it, right? So let's say, for example, you and Jesse are pals, and you're training them, and supposed to you two guys are the last people standing. Who's going to fall? You going to give it to him, or you can't give it to him?
We'll have to
You can't give it to him.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
That's the politically correct answer. That's the politically correct answer.
No, like I'm really like at first I got into it because it was Jesse's thing, and I'm his trainer and his friend, obviously. Yeah. So, but when I was like, man, I'm putting in the hours, I might as well
do it.
Just go as far as I can. Like, and if that means I finish longer than him, then that's what it is. I'm not trying to go in there. I'm going to beat Jesse. Yeah. I'm going into it thinking I'm going to go as possibly as long as I can go and just see what happens.
Savages.
That's
what we are. How you looking? How you feel about the Hell on the Hill race? What do you think you're gonna do? We got 4 hours to complete. What do you think you're gonna do?
I think it's gonna how fast I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you think?
Man, 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, for 3 hours. Yeah. Hopefully.
I'm doing 4. I'm gonna be right at the buzzer. 3:59:59. Just enough time to go. Dude, cool. Man. I got the money for the Decatur makers. I'm coming home, baby.
And that's what it's about.
Just kidding.
This thing is more about. It almost feels like a family reunion more than anything.
It is
because it's people you only see once a year.
Yeah,
and it's a big event.
We have our version of our community.
Yeah, man.
This is a version of a community that we have built, and I think this community is really strong because a lot of people believe in it. Such a great cause.
Yeah, and going back and pouring other people, like it gives me energy to see the guys, the elite guys.
Yeah.
To watch how fast it blows my mind because I know that how bad it would hurt me to go that fast.
Yeah.
So it's always it's a reality check knowing that, hey man, you're not this great, blah blah blah. You always have room to improve.
Right.
Look at those guys. Look how fast they're going. Yeah. It's possible, but are you doing it? Yeah. It's a good thing to say.
And another thing about being selfless, though, one thing I like about those guys, though, even though that they are
kill
elites,
it,
and they kill it,
yeah.
They still include the middle of the pack people like us.
They stay there to cheer you on.
They cheer you on
stuff.
prior to the race, like you're getting tagged in Instagram, like like Marq, Mike, let's go, we're about to do it.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm about to vomit. But they're like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? So it's very selfless in that. So it gets me amped up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason I can't finish this, right?
And I always say there's no better bond that you build with somebody than somebody you suffer with. When you suffer with somebody, then you like, last story, man. So we get done with the race and, Chad and Jesse all did it together for 12 hours, right? So Chad is very reserved. You know what I mean? You got to gain his trust, right? So Chad's leaving like the next day, and we're all going on a walk. It's like 8 of us, right?
Yeah.
And he's saying goodbye to everybody. He says goodbye to me, and Jesse says goodbye to Jesse. I love you, brother. Goodbye, blah blah blah. Says goodbye to me, gives me a hug. I love you, brother. Blah blah blah. Awesome. Right? Yeah. The next guy comes up, tries to give him a hug. He goes, "I don't love you yet, brother." You know what I mean? Just like because you didn't suffer with that person, so you build it through suffering.
Yeah.
It was like I was dying laughing.
Nah, you're not so much.
He wasn't being an ass about it. He was just like, nah.
Yeah.
Like,
when we get to grunting and all that stuff together, I'll give you a hug.
Yeah,
that's real talk, though.
Yeah, man.
And that's probably how they translated it, being a SEAL.
Being a SEAL, man.
Well.
And he was telling me all the stuff he was teaching us was stuff they taught him as a SEAL. He said all the SEALs they're not some elite person, some robot. He said there are people SEALs are just people that will not give up. They're not always the best of the best. This is the person.
They're not.
They're just the people that are going to figure it out and not give up no matter how hard it gets.
I've always said it's always the guys that you see that you like.
Never know.
No way he could be a SEAL, and he's the perfect person.
And he will put you on your back in 1 second.
Like, legit.
Yeah.
And it's always the dudes that are like, those are the first ones.
Because you know what that is? That's a facade. Yeah. You're covering up. You're trying to put out into the world what you're really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people are. Some people are what they are. Some people are that rah. But for majority, somebody that's loud and braggadocious, they're not like that. You always worry about the guy that's unassuming and quiet. That's the one you got to worry about. That's the one that's going to take you out.
The one that ain't saying nothing?
Yeah.
Be fearful of him.
Yeah, definitely,
So I'm going to go downstairs and not say nothing to nobody tonight. It's crazy how an hour goes by so fast.
It's an hour?
Yeah,
oh,
bro.
man. That was cool, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. Any last minute quick shout outs, anything?
I want to give a shout out to my wife for letting me do this crazy
Candy
stuff
Cane,
now. I really, really appreciate
Mrs.
you.
Brown.
Down in Atlanta, holding down the fort, man, with the boys. I
And
really
the boys.
appreciate it. Yeah, man. And just keep pushing it, man.
So I'm looking forward to doing some race again after this one with you, after Last Man Standing.
Yeah, man, definitely.
We should figure out what we got coming up. We got the fall coming up, so we normally jump into like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving half marathon. Yeah, definitely do that again, man.
The full was you did the full this year, and it was different.
But the
track was different.
We used it as a training run too, though.
Right,
but we did run. It was a little bit different.
Yeah, a lot different.
Yeah.
The last 6 miles wasn't as crazy.
It wasn't as bad, man, but it was still. That was hard for us because we were like running, walking, and we weren't trying to do it fast. We were just trying to use it as a training run.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for sitting here.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on again.
We need to go get some rest real quick for tomorrow's race. So let's go do that, man. Thanks you so much for listening to Decatur FM, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Decatur FM.